What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Ruckus Wrestling. I'm Josh Mabry, alongside my co-host and tag team partner in this journey, Justin Toner. How we doing?
Much better compared to last week, my friend.
Well, it's always good to see that we're not at both of us are not a clean bill of health, but we're good enough to make the show go.
Yeah.
So, and let's kick it right into it. With unfortunate as far as health wise, we did lose two good brothers in the business. Ole Anderson and Virgil did pass away this week. They were both, I think, in their late 60s. I mean, Ollie was up there
Virgil
in
was
the
in
70s.
his 60s. Ole Anderson was like 81, I think.
Yeah, he was in the 80s, 70s. But just Justin, I'll kind of hand the keys over to you in this one. I was kind of a little young for these two legends in the game, and yes, Virgil is a legend in the game. We're still talking about him. He still always comes up. He basically had a pretty solid 15-year career in the big leagues, as you would say.
Yeah.
And then Ollie is a legend all in itself. That really doesn't need to be said on why. But Justin, kind of tell us a little bit and give these good brothers their flowers.
Okay, well, we'll start with Ole Anderson. He came out of Minnesota and got in the wrestling business in the 60s. Eventually made his way from the AWA to Jim Crockett Promotions, aka the NWA, and became part of a tag team known as the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. And eventually he became partners with Arn Anderson, who was basically, they were billed as relatives, though they're not blood relatives at all. And was a multi-time tag team champion. And then, of course, in the 80s, he, along with Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and Ric Flair, and with manager J.J. Dillon, created one of the greatest wrestling stables in wrestling history, the Four Horsemen. He was one of the founding members. Eventually, he retired from in-ring action and went to work behind the scenes. He spent time as the head booker for Jim Crockett Promotions, eventually turning into WCW. But by the time Eric Bischoff took control of WCW in the mid-90s, it's like his time was over behind the scenes. Some people have been critical of some of his booking decisions. It's like, I'm not going to get all into that, but he was a well-regarded wrestler. He inspired and trained a lot of people. In fact, he was trained by two legends himself, Dick the Bruiser and Vern Gagne. Vern Gagne, for those you don't know, was the founder of the AWA, one of the other big wrestling promotions from the 70s into 80s when I was growing up. Of course, AWA is where a lot of big name wrestlers got their start, including like Hulk Hogan, the Rockers, stuff like that, before it went under in the 80s as the WWF, now WWE, just started to just explode, and a lot of the other smaller companies had a hard time being able to keep up the competition outside of course, NWA WCW, because it was backed by Ted Turner eventually when he bought out the company from Jim Crockett. So as far as Virgil, he's part of Mike Jones. He worked in the lower territories. He spent time in the AWA. And then he was brought in. He became really, his big break was when he came to the WWF and debuted along with the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase as his bodyguard, Virgil. For a while, people didn't realize this because, he was just acted as basically, his bodyguard / manservant, that he could actually wrestle. And, it wasn't until years later when he finally turned on $1 Million Man after years of abuse, thanks to the support of Roddy Piper, a very famous angle where he finally turned on the $1 Million Man and feuded with him, and even won the $1 Million belt for a while. But then as time in the WWF came to end, he then went to work for WCW as Vincent, and was a very frequent member of the NWO, especially kind of like the NWB team level. And after that, it's like he kind of wrestled here and there for a bit. Eventually, went into retirement. Also wrestled under Soul Train Jones. He apparently had been dealing with a lot of health issues. I think cancer. So that was his death was not expected. Anderson's, well, he was getting up there, so it's not like too surprising. But yeah, two well-known wrestlers from my childhood, in the heyday, especially in the 80s and also some of the 70s. So sad to see them both go. They definitely left a lasting contribution to wrestling fans who grew up during that time period, and definitely will not be forgotten.
No. I mean, him and Arn were to me were like the catalyst of tag team, like the best tag team ever.
They were.
No one's ever gonna.
They were. People forget because Arn and Tully became so good together.
Right.
They forgot that it's like that before. He and Tully started teaming. It was him and Ole before, kind of like Ole is slowly start wrestling, and he eventually was actually kicked out of the Horsemen. There was a whole angle where the Horsemen turned on him and kicked him out, and he became face for a while. But yeah, it's like him and Arn were a hell of a tag team. It's like they were multi-time tag champions. So yeah. It's like, just go back and watch some of the classic stuff. In fact, if you want to see how it's like, Ole Anderson was really underrated, Mike. If you want to see him at deliver one of his best promos, check out. You can find it on YouTube. I think it's from I think it was 1990. It's a segment from a Clash of Champions where Sting was had become an ally of Rick when he was feuding against Terry Funk and Great Muta, and the Horsemen reformed, and Sting was actually a member with both Ole and Arn and Rick. But when Sting wanted a shot at the world title, the Horsemen didn't take it very well. It's like, and Ole Anderson cuts this like very vicious promo where he basically tells Sting you got Rick has bought you time out of the kindness of his heart for the things you've done for him, but it's like, if you don't rescind your request for a title shot, we're going to destroy you. And when he refused, that they destroyed, they beat him down. It's like it's an awesome segment. It's like check it out. Ole Anderson really kills it. He's like ripping into Sting before they turn on him.
Yeah, so, but it was always like those two, and then like you said, Arn and Tully, and then people are like, man, I don't know how tag team wrestling is going to get bigger, and then you had those Steiners. They're like, well, here we are. And then we have like the FTRs of these days, because the FTR exists because of what Ole and Arn and even Tully Blanchard did. I mean, that's why we gravitate to FTR, because they have such a blend. They do best of those, like the old school wrestling, but also they adapt very well to how wrestling matches are booked nowadays, and they make it work. So that's why FTR is very big with these two people you see in front of you. Another person, Shotzi, was confirmed. We figured it was the, I know we're just kind of carrying over, but she will be successful knee surgery, ACL, on the shelf for 9 months.
Yeah, real bummer. She word got out that because like NXT had taped some stuff for the a week ahead just before Elimination Chamber, and she was supposed to have a title match against Lyra Valkyria, and just a few minutes in the match, she did a routine move. She was like doing like a DDT while she was on the apron using the ropes, and she just went to drop down to the floor after she did the move, and freak accident, landed wrong, and screwed up her knee and tore the ACL. Just like that.
Yeah.
It's in the episode. They didn't cut it out, of course. It's like, props to Shawn Michaels and everybody, because they had to scramble to basically they had Lash Legend go out there as an impromptu replacement, and basically they did a whole match between the two of them on the fly. And even threw in a segment with Roxanne Perez on the fly, finding out that Lash Legend had because Ava basically did like an open challenge because Shotzi couldn't wrestle to give Lara an opponent to finish out the show, and Lash Legend answered, and Roxanne found out because she was in the shower and Mr. Chance, and she was pissed.
So you're telling me when all else fails, you send Roxanne out to make sure the show still goes on without a hitch? Okay.
Yeah.
Really? Of all people, you put Roxanne? Like, what has she done other than be the most amazing thing to ever grace?
Props to them for coming up with that because that was definitely also on the fly. That it's like they did they showed a whole picture-in-picture segment of her finding out that Lash Legend had what happened. And when she saw that Lash Legend had like beat her to punch because she just happened to be in the freaking shower, she like just into the television.
Right. Exactly.
Like
exactly.
Yeah. Roxanne is tired of this bullshit.
Oh yeah, and I like the way she exited last episode, and we'll get it to that later on the show. I know I have the headline is McIntyre's contract. We will get to that at the end of our recap of Elimination Chamber and why that means more. Just because we like to do that at the segment, because Elimination Chamber McIntyre had big implications on what's going to happen later on. If you haven't watched it, obviously that's why we're not saying it right now. If you have watched it, if you haven't watched it, go back if you can watch Elimination Chamber. It was solid. But if you haven't, that's why we're not doing the headline quite yet. The other couple of nuggets we've got here, the 3-time Emmy Award winner and former WWE writer Jennifer Pepperman is taking a role as Vice President of Content Development with AEW. She will work right alongside Tony Khan. She left WWE last week after 6 years with the company. Now, did she just get more money? Like, what what's with that? I know a lot, like the head like I think right now, as far as behind the scenes stuff, because people all say like, just sign a bunch of like the WCW of old. I don't think WCW ever like hired the big wigs, because back then it was still kind of a hodgepodge of producers and stuff like that, plus Vince ran the whole damn thing anyway, so it wasn't like a big thing. Where now it's you've got the head producer, I believe, at the time came over to AEW. He left and came to AEW, and then now we just have Jennifer come over. So you're having a lot of behind the scenes people to kind of come up and help Tony with the behind the scenes and making sure of the show and how to make it more crisp presentation for that. So anything of like, was there ill will, or it was just she just
nobody knows. All it's known is that she left. It was word got out that she was leaving WWE. She had been working for WWE since 2017 as one of the few female members of the writing team that helps Triple H script out storylines and stuff like that. Before she got into wrestling, she was an Emmy Award-winning writer and producer in the soap opera world. It's like, so word got out that she was leaving, and then it's like Tony Khan snatched her up to bring her in, and now she's going to be she's vice president of content development, which from the sounds of it sounds like he's bringing her in to help with storylines and writing, which yes, that's a great idea.
Yes.
It's like Tony needs the help. So now some people gave her a hard time because she was behind some potentially not so great storylines, but you got to remember when most of the time that she was working there, she had to do what Vince told her. And as we know right now, Vince is a garbage human being, and it's like we don't need to get into all that stuff with him right now. But you do what you're told. So sometimes you got to write crap.
Yeah, and a lot of times too. And I kind of read something where a writer, like article just recently of a writer, like got fired. Vince fired him because he wrote something different and made it go, and Vince didn't like it, so he fired him. And I'm like, Vince, and like the whole time you just go back and like watch all those shows, you're like, why even have writers? Because you heard so many times of people doing all this writing, and now some of the writers suck. We get it, okay? It's just not everybody's fit for WWE's and like wrestling storyline stuff like that. But the fact that like you heard so many times of just Vince just here's a script and then he rips everything up and then just makes random audibles. It's like why even have people there if you're gonna just make the show yourself? Now here's the thing, Tony. Don't look in the mirror and see yourself being the bad like making things on the fly. Don't ever be the Vince McMahon piece of crap garbage human. Obviously don't do that. But as far as the wrestling world, listen to people and take their advice and and see what happens. Because sometimes hearing someone else's point of view, which is tough for all human beings sometimes, especially when it's your baby and you're invested in it like Tony is. So I understand that, but you just as a viewer, just listen to other people and maybe it'll work, because storylines and being consistent is what AEW is struggling with, whereas Triple H has it down very well at this point. With that. A couple other the big nugget here. Tama Tonga has, according to Sean Ross Sapp, has signed and is headed to WWE. For those who don't know, Tama Tonga is one of the founding members of the Bullet Club. Now, obviously, people can start fantasy booking all they want of like, well, they're tied to Bullet Club. Guys, listen, 83% of the active wrestling community is tied to the Bullet Club. It's just what it is. It's still one of the coolest stables since the NWO, as far as, just the influence that it's done. And a lot of times where wrestlers went to the Bullet Club, it really catapulted them, their names being relevant, stuff like that from New Japan. I mean, literally, like Cody went to the Bullet Club and then met the Young Bucks, and then we have AEW, Hangman. Adam Cole was ROH. He really didn't need the Bullet Club. It did help. Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows. I know they're kind of like up and down as far as like people liking them. Kenny Omega. But Bullet, for some reason, when AJ Styles, like literally that was, he was great in TNA, but then he went to the Bullet Club and really caught people's attention for the run that he had there with his matches with Okada and stuff like that. So if you don't think the Bullet Club has very, like, obviously Prince Devitt or Finn Balor now. Again, like I said, a lot of wrestlers were in the Bullet Club at one point. So
WWE and AEW have a lot of former Bullet Club members.
Right, Jay White, they're obviously Bullet Club Gold now, the Bang Bang Club.
Adam Cole spent time in Bullet Club.
It's
like
So there's
the Young Bucks.
Yeah, so there's a lot of influence there. But Tama basically was the Bad Luck Fale is the one that's been there since the beginning, still is there. But Tama, I don't know. So Meltzer came out, and I'm tired of hearing whatever Meltzer says. I take it with a fat grain of salt.
You got to take anything he says these days with a gigantic grain of salt.
Because people will sit there, as soon as Tama Tonga signed with WWE, a lot of the comments were like, "Oh, he's going to join the Bloodline." It's like, no, he's the son of Haiku, number one.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, for people who don't know, no, he's not part of the Bloodline family. No. He is the son of the legendary wrestler Haku, who is, as Chris Jericho and Stone Cold and many others testify, one of the most legit badass people on the planet. Mm-hmm. As in, you do not want to fuck with him, because he could legitimately put you in the hospital or worse. Mm-hmm. It's like you read Chris Jericho. I read Chris Jericho's first book. He's got stories to tell about Traveler Haku. And about something that happened in Mexico, and he was thankful that Haku was with him and had his back, because things could have gotten really bad.
I remember the airport story too. You just hear Haku, help me, brother, and then he just went like
it's like Haku had Chris Jericho's back, and he was very thankful, because it was a situation that could have gone south really in a bad way.
But they're Tongan, they're not.
He's Samoan. They're not Samoan, so he's not going to be involved in the Bloodline.
Yeah, and the reason we were saying take what Meltzer says with a grain of salt, because he came out and said, well, he's good friends with them. I mean, shit, dude. I mean, he's
No,
good
the
friends
bloodline
with
is about the family.
right.
It's like he's not a blood relative. He's not related to them at all. So
No.
him being part of the bloodline, it would make no effing sense.
No.
So what will make sense is that the issues that have been going on between AJ Styles and the Good Brothers, him being involved. Also, it's like he could be there, or it could be used as another like, hey, ally for Finn Balor. It's like because they're Bullet Club guys. So that's more likely where he's not going to be involved in Bloodline. It's there, because AJ's clearly gone to the dark side, as we'll get into Elimination Chamber with what he did on the pay-per-view. Good Brothers kind of like really a little tweener with especially what they're doing in NXT right now. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how he's going to get used for sure. So
yeah, super fantasy booking. A lot of people were throwing out that's not going to happen, but it'd be cool. And I don't know how you make it make sense and even match up. But a lot of people are like, you know how Cody's going to fight the Bloodline? With his old Bullet Club cronies now that Tama Tonga is signed. So you have like the Good Brothers, AJ Styles, Tama Tonga going and Cody going against the Bloodline. I'm like, that'd be cool. Not gonna happen. For one thing, the Good Brothers are not over at all. I mean, Cody being around Cody obviously Cody and AJ will definitely, that makes sense. And then how this is how you bring in Tama and the Good Brothers be there, so it could help as far as fantasy booking. Not going to happen. I mean, it just doesn't make any literal sense, especially what they're trying to do. But that as far as like the wrestling mark in me, I'd love as hell to see that. But as far as actual realization, no. Now, like I said, and we kind of brought up, dude's 41, right? So I know as much as we bring up about LA Knight being in his 40s and even Damian Priest being in his 40s.
This is not like some young up and comer. This is a wrestling veteran.
Right. So do you think they're bringing him in as kind of like Bobby Roode? I just watched a part of his interview with Chris Van Fleet, and he was talking about when he first interviewed with Triple H of coming to WWE from 10-8, because I mean Bobby Roode wasn't a spry chicken either when he came to WWE.
No.
And so he was saying, basically it was like Triple H was kind of like, what do you want to like? Do you want to just be a full-time wrestler? Do you want to be a producer? And he was like, eventually I want to be a coach. He's like, I'd like to, I still got some left in the tank. And I think that's the conversation he had with Tama, and that's the reason it took forever. I think just Tama, he finally got to the point now where he just like, I want to try something new. I'm just speculating, don't know the man.
He's done everything he can in New Japan. It's like, it's like he's had a hell of a career there. So makes sense that you want to like, go try WWE out. And, plus, with, AJ and the Good Brothers being there and Finn too, who he knows and worked with before, it's a no brainer. I mean, you'd think it would, because of their relationship with New Japan, that AEW would have been a more likely landing spot. But, it's like there's a lot of influx and talent already going there anyway. So, and I guess maybe, Triple H, made him a really good offer about like, what he's going to do when he's coming in. And then, like when he decides, he wants to hang up the boots, what's he going to do afterwards? And speaking of Bobby Roode, he is now officially like a full-time producer. He's part of the production crew with, Jamie Noble and Hurricane and everybody. Yep. And I heard he's very happy. It's like he's like, he had a hell of a career both in TNA and WWE. So if he's happy working behind the scenes now instead of being in the ring, more power to him.
He is officially cleared, but when he was on with Chris, he said, Chris was like, so what are you going to do? He was like, dude, he's like, I might have, ask, he was like, maybe a Rumble. He goes, yeah, if they want to play my glorious theme song just to get a nice little pop, he goes, but I'm not. He's like, I can technically I'm cleared by the doctors, but he's more 70. He's more just like 85 producing, and then might come back for like a Trish Stratus type of like, do a one-off thing here, do a one-off run. But he's got his fusion.
He's done full time.
He's done full time. And he had a great career. I mean, yeah, we wish we saw more on the main roster. He did what he could based off the crap writing.
He wish he got more because, oh God, the glorious. It's like that theme song.
That theme song. One of the best. And he's solid in the ring, for what he was. But yeah. So seeing Tama, I've been wanting Tama to be in WWE because he oozes charisma. And also it's like his father spent a good time in WWE there. Had a hell of a run. He was King Haku. He got the team with Andre the Giant. It was a tag team champion. Of course, and it's like for people from my generation, this time WCW is a little bit more, maybe more memorable. Especially with you teamed up with Barbarian. Yeah.
The Faces of Fear. It's like it's stuff like that. So it's like it's like his dad's got ties to the company that go back quite a ways. So it'd be interesting to see when he's going to show up and what he's going to do.
Yeah, and he had that weird the neck submission. I forgot what he called it.
Haku. It was called the Tongan Death Grip.
Yeah, the Tongan Death Grip.
It's like he grabbed you under the throat to try to
but another little nugget about Haku that I always remember is I played the crap out of WCW NWO Revenge, and him and Barbarian in the story mode were the tag teams you had to beat. Little random fun fact about Haku. But yeah, mainly is if you just go on YouTube, search Haku stories, and just enjoy.
A lot of people have plenty of stories about it's like how legit badass this man is.
But they did get released today, Justin, for you to go back and see it. He never saw the debut of the Shock Master.
Yeah.
He never saw that video. And I mean, the dude cracked up for 30, like a legit almost a minute. And Sean Ross Sapp just clipped Haku just cracking up laughing for 30 seconds. He goes, I'm going to use this forever now. About it. So Haku never even saw it till to this day, which is crazy. But yeah, definitely excited to see Tama Tonga and how they're going to use him, because I think Triple H knows what he's doing with Tama. And I don't know what's going to happen with Tonga Loa, his brother, who was in WWE at one point. Wasn't what? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He wasn't Sin Cara. What was? Did he? He wasn't Sin Cara, right? Tonga Loa. He was. I knew he was. He was part. Anyway, Tonga Loa had like just a hot, like a sandwich basically time in WWE. He wasn't in there very long before he went over and became the Gorillas of Destiny, which their entrance music is still one of the most badass entrance musics I've heard. A couple other nuggets before we move on. Seth and Becky were on the pseudo Hot One show where they ask each other questions. If they answered it, it was like a truth or dab was what they called it, but they didn't have Sean Evans there to do it. And Becky asked, and the big nugget to take out, Becky says, hey, say three nice things about CM Punk. And he said, I will gladly eat a hot death wing, then say something nice about CM Punk. So that's a good nugget there. Yeah. And then Cody, for the month of March, out of the 19 events that WWE has scheduled live and also SmackDown, Raw, all that stuff, and also the live events that they do, he is scheduled for 17 of the 19. So I'm not saying he's gonna win at WrestleMania, but what are we doing? You're putting him, we're putting him through all that.
He's the workhorse, man. He's the workhorse.
Wrong guy, but it's Tua Tagovailoa. But yeah, Loa, and yeah, some of those letters do make up the Dolphins quarterback's name. On that, but let's move on. Any other news that you can think of? That's kind of the nuggets that I have. Also,
wait, one other thing. It's kind of a morbid news, but former he was known as Billy Jack Haynes, wrestled at WWF for a time. Was recently arrested and has now been charged with the murder of his wife. Sorry about it.
I remember you posting that. I just didn't know who he was, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like if you grew up watching WWF like I did in the 80s, you know who he is.
Gotcha. It's just tragic all around on that.
Yeah, it sounds like a really effed up situation.
Yeah. Also, guys, go see R-Truth and on the video where he talked to Johnny Gargano, saying that he would be the next Shawn Michaels. Look it up, watch it, laugh.
More awesomeness from R-Truth.
Yeah, it's R-Truth. It's going to be awesome truth dethroning Judgment Day, isn't it?
I think that's where they're going.
I mean, at this point, I mean, you heard the pop that we'll get to it. We'll get to it. So let's do I'm going to play your SmackDown. I'm going to play the pay-per-view because it pretty much is one show at the end of the day.
Yeah, if you want to just go 1 during the other,
we'll go 1, 2 with it. So we'll do 1, 2, and then we'll talk basically through both of them. Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Hey everybody, here is a recap of Friday Night SmackDown for last week, the go-home show for Elimination Chamber. Short and sweet here. Tiffany Stratton defeated Liv Morgan in a one-on-one matchup. We got a vignette of the new pairing of Ashante, Adonis, and Cedric Alexander's new tag team, with Adonis critiquing Cedric's fashion choices and helping him get a makeover. Braun Breaker made his SmackDown debut, squashing Dante Chen. New Cat Republic beat defeated the Judgment Day pair of Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough. Authors of Pain defeated the Street Profits as the feud between the Pride and the Last Testament continues. We saw in the back Dakota Kai found hurt by Nick Aldis and was helped into the trainer's room. Bayley showed up and apologized for not helping and believing. Dakota said it was okay, and that they're going to make Damage Control pay next week, and it will be Bayley and Dakota Kai versus Asuka and Kairi next week. And then the main event, we had Drew McIntyre taking on LA Knight. Drew won by disqualification. It ended up being a big schmoz between all the men's Elimination Chamber contestants in the big brawl. And it ended with Randy Orton hitting Drew with an RKO to close out the show to lead into the Elimination Chamber. Short and sweet, not much happened, just more of a hype toward the pay-per-view. So that's all that happened on last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. All right, here we go. Here's a recap of Monday Night Raw this week with the follow-up from the Elimination Chamber over the weekend. All right, folks, here we go. Here's a recap of WWE's recent premium live event / pay-per-view, the Elimination Chamber, from Perth, Australia, which aired on Saturday. On the pre-show, we had a match. The Kabuki Warriors defeated Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae to retain the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Being from Australia, Indy Hartwell got a huge reaction and ovation from the fans, both before the match, during the match, and after the match. So great moment for Indy, even though her and Candice lost. Then we got to the main show. We opened with the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Raquel Rodriguez, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch won the Elimination Chamber. It came down to her, Bianca, Liv. Liv took out Bianca with a surprise roll-up, and right afterwards, Becky capitalized, giving Liv the manhandle slam to pick up the victory, and finally earns her title shot against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Tiffany Stratton was the MVP of this match. She was super over the crowd, looked like a star. It was Tiffy time indeed, did land down under. Then we had the tag team title match, the Judgment Day. Damian Priest and Finn Balor defeated the New Catch Republic of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate to remain the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. Then we had the Grayson Waller Effect show with guests Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Waller got a great reaction from his home country. Big thing that came out of this was Seth revealed that he's days away from being medically cleared to finally wrestle again. And Cody then challenged Rock to a one-on-one match anytime, anywhere. Seth said that he will have his back if that does happen. Austin Theory kept cutting him and Seth off with Rock catchphrases, much to their annoyance. And finally, Cody and Seth just beat the crap out of Austin Theory, and Grayson Waller stayed out of it. Then we had the men's Elimination Chamber match. We had Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, Logan Paul, and Bobby Lashley. Lots of interference in this one. AJ Styles snuck into the chamber after Bobby Lashley was eliminated by Drew McIntyre to attack LA Knight with a steel chair. Just absolutely destroyed him, making it easy for Drew to pin and eliminate LA Knight. Fans did not like that at all. Orton went on a tear. He RKO'd Kevin Owens and then Logan Paul to eliminate them, and was down to Orton and Drew McIntyre as the final two. Orton was selling the back, but he suckered Drew in playing possum and hit him with an RKO. But before he could get the pinfall, Logan Paul took him out with brass knuckles to the face, and Drew was able to recover enough to get his arm on top to pin Randy Orton and win the men's elimination chamber match. He will face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. And then we had the main event. Rhea Ripley defending the Women's World Heavyweight Championship against Nia Jax. Great reaction from the fans for Rhea returning to her home country. Her family was at ringside for the match. Actually, a pretty good match in the end. Rhea was able to overcome Nia Jax. She even kicked out of the Annihilator at one point. She eventually was able to actually lift Nia up and hit her with a Riptide for the victory. And locking in Rhea versus Becky at WrestleMania. And the show closed with her celebrating with her family and the fans at ringside and in the ring to close out the show. So that's all that happened at WWE's Elimination Chamber.
All right, so you got a little preview of the Raw preview. That's okay. Production. That's how it happens. I was trying to be smooth about it, but it's whatever.
Yeah, it happens.
So you know what? I'm gonna start with the Elimination Chamber. Then we can go back to a couple nuggets in SmackDown. So.
Oh, what's that? Oh, I think it's called Tiffy Time.
Shit. Well, yeah, that freaking dive off the top was so freaking clean. She is so just naturally clean. It's ridiculous. She is gifted. Because go watch the struggle that the Kabuki Warriors had to do to get Indy and Candice just do anything. And which is kind of crazy because Candice is I think she's lost a step or something. It was just it was very clunky, that match.
Yeah, it was weird. It's like, Indy did really good when she got the hot tag. Crowd popped big for it because, Indy's from Australia. So yeah, all the wrestlers who were, native Australians got lots of love from their home country fans. For those still wondering, the reason Bronson Reed did not make the Elimination Chamber was because his wife indeed was pregnant and the baby came early. And apparently the original plans were if Seth had not gotten injured in that match against Jinder Mahal, Bronson's spot on the card would have been wrestling Seth Rollins in a world title match.
Damn.
Is apparently what the original plan was. So I think they were when that got scrapped, because of the knee injury. They were probably thinking of putting him in the chamber, but then it's like the baby came early, and so they had Lashley beat him instead to take that spot. So
gotcha.
Real bummer for him, but he said it's okay. He's a dad. They'll hopefully they'll be back in Australia another time, and get to perform in front of his fellow countrymen in the future. But anyway,
I will say this about not going into the two Elimination Chamber matches, and I'll leave the main event, which I thought was a really cool thing that they did for Rhea, because she is that over and she deserved that spot. She earned it. She's worked her ass off to get there. Yeah. Number 2, that Judgment Day New Catch Republic tag team match was so freaking awesome. I enjoyed every second of it. It was booked well. It highlighted how good Pete Dunne actually is, Vince, you dumbass.
Yeah, thank God the Bruiserweight's back.
They the Bruiserweights, they let him do their thing. Like, this is what happens when you let good wrestlers freaking wrestle, as a Drew McIntyre once said at his really good promo with Kevin Owens. And so that match was probably outside of the Elimination Chamber matches. That match was to me the cleanest, best booked match because because everything both teams look strong. I think the right team won because I know what they're building towards, and they didn't build they didn't build New Catch Republic to just get a number one contenders match because they just literally just formed. Like it didn't make sense for them to win.
They were not going to win. It was pretty clear, they're not going to win the tag titles. I think when you mentioned before, I think the clear plan right now is that it's going to be Miz and Truth, Awesome Truth against Judgment Day for the tag titles at Mania. They'll win the titles. Probably not going to hold on to them very long, and hopefully, I would think DIY is going to snatch them up not long afterwards. They're going to give Miz and Truth a great WrestleMania rumor because the crowd is going to go nuts with Truth taking down Judgment Day like that, with the way the storyline's been built. So I think that's where they're going. But I think eventually down the line, could easily see New Catch Republic holding the tag titles as well.
Don't really care for the name. Understand the lineage and why they're named that.
That happened recently was that they gave them and DIY less than 10 minutes for the number one contender match. It's like that was from.
It's all right though. We at least know that they're back with one of those teams.
I trust Triple H. DIY is going to get their time. I mean,
you mean DIX?
I love this running gag they're doing with Truth and
which the fact is like DIX is dicks, which I think.
And Johnny Gargano is totally leaning into it with with merch ideas on Twitter. It's fantastic.
It's just when you just roll with Truth, it works. He's just we'll get to that.
The tag team division is really been rebuilt. I mean, you got so many great tag teams right now. It's like we got DIY, we got the Catch Republic, the Creed brothers. Authors of Pain just came back. Street Profits are still around. Got the Good Brothers.
New Day Imperium just put on a banger.
New Day Imperium. There's a lot of really damn good tag teams right now. So I can't wait for the Judgment Day to finally lose the tag titles, and then things are going to get really interesting in the tag division. I think once the titles are off of them, and we'll hopefully see some teams get a chance at the gold very soon that I want to see hold on to the gold. So, but did you want to say anything else or?
I want to jump back to SmackDown, and then we can go to the two Elimination Chamber matches. Okay.
Go ahead.
So as far as story stuff that happened on there, I was surprised. Number one, I was surprised to see the Authors of Pain already go over on the Street Profits, but okay, it's fine. They need to build them back up and show because
they just got back.
They just got back, and you got to have them being a legit foe to the Pride or whatever the hell they're going to call themselves.
No, they need to be wrecking people, and they've done that so far.
Right, they've done that so far, so that's good. And then the other one is literally the only other thing storyline wise was the Dakota Bailey thing. I didn't realize she was cleared because they're now.
Well, that's the thing. We haven't heard of. It's like we don't. It's like it hasn't been confirmed that she's cleared. So either she is cleared and they kept it a secret, or this is a trap.
Well, they're saying that they're gonna go against the Kabuki Warriors next week. Bailey and Dakota are.
But it could be a trap. Like it's like either it's legit and it's like Dakota really is on Bailey's side, or it's a swerve and she's gonna turn on her during the match and show that she's still aligned with Io and the Kabuki Warriors.
I don't think they
will. Could go either way. That's the thing. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think she makes the turn at WrestleMania because I think they still keep the belt on Io Sky. I do. I don't think Bailey's going to take the win on that.
We'll see. I hope they wouldn't. It'd be really cheesy if Dakota turned on her just yet. It's like so I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know.
No.
But if she's finally cleared, that's awesome. Dakota.
All right, so we kind of alluded to it. Let's go back to the women's. That's pretty much all I had for SmackDown, just because everything else was
two other things from SmackDown that kind of played an important part. During the AOP Street Profits match, Cross attacked Lashley and injured his arm, and that injury played a factor in the chamber match. So Cross is going to take credit for that So so Lashley is going to be wanting to hurt him even more. And then that stuff, and also Roman was trying to cook up something with Grayson Waller. That really, unfortunately, I don't think went absolutely nowhere. Because if the whole thing was what we saw on Raw, then that was a wet fart.
Am I been oblivious to Grayson Waller's entrance, or did the past, I think Raw, I know we're gonna get to it, but his entrance is the shoey, that graphic, was that already there, or is this new? Was that new on Raw?
I think that's new from because he did the shoey thing at Elimination Chamber.
Okay, I was making sure I wasn't like I was like, did I miss a day of school somewhere? Like but I thought I like that graphic.
But that's all. That's all I have to say about SmackDown.
All right. So going on to the Women's Elimination Chamber, I really I really enjoyed it. Everyone knew what was gonna happen, but it still didn't mean that the match didn't suck.
No.
Right. And it's very hard. And again, I look at the lens of this is one of the hardest matches to book. If you don't think it's hard to book, ask December to Dismember. Okay, because that was a piece of crap. And
I love how Cole brought up December to Dismember.
I know he did. So it's very hard.
Probably want to forget that because that match is very that whole pay-per-view is very infamous for being really fucking bad.
And I just remember Triple H at the first sitting there with Booker looking at the structure in the first Elimination Chamber that they did, and him and Booker just sitting there going, what the hell are we gonna do with this? Like they looked like a cool structure and it was a good plan, but
it was like made of like legit like steel shit. That was unforgiving stuff. They got it's like them getting slammed and stuff.
Yeah, it used to like the outside used to be metal. Now it's like metal, but pads.
Padded.
Right. Back then, but yeah, no, I thought this match was really good. Tiffy did her thing. Liv went over on Tiffy, which gave Liv some heat because you could tell the people were behind Tiffany Stratton. So it's not going to be very much longer before she's legit. And I mean, everyone got their shine with it, and I don't know what to do with Raquel. I really don't. She's such a tweener. Like, she's fine. It makes sense on why she would be in this event, but then again, they
need to give her a little bit more character work, I think, because it's like she's mostly been like just that we're like, I'm a baby face. They need to give her a little bit more because she's really good. She's good in the ring. Also, props to Raquel. She obviously apparently had an episode of her the
skin.
I forget what the full word. It's like a syndrome. She had an attack, so she could not. They could not put makeup on her, so it was like she went out there and wrestled very clearly without any makeup.
She did look like she had something going on.
Yeah.
I was like, I know she'd been fighting it, and she was fine.
It's not something that can be cured. It's something she's going to have to deal with the rest of her life.
Yeah, that stinks.
So props to her for going out there and wrestling despite having a little bit of an episode there. Had some cool spots there, especially with Bianca. That DDT counter that Bianca did on her outside the ring was dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. This was Tiffany Stratton's coming out party. Again, it's like, well, the Rumble was kind of like a tease, but between the crowd really being into Tiffany, I mean, I was like, what? Now, by the way, I did not get up at 5 a.m. freaking Eastern time to watch this live. I slept in and watched the replay. I'm glad I did. This was a D show, but it was not like a home run show that I needed to watch live, No. But anyway, hearing the fans chanting Tiffy time, I was like, damn, this Australian crowd loves Tiffany. So I was like, hell yeah, it's Tiffy time. And that swanton off top of the pod, taking out everybody, fantastic spot.
So smooth. She's so freaking smooth.
I mean, and it's
her three. I call it the 3-step moonsault.
Yeah.
and it's just she's so smooth with
and
it.
her hand and the handspring attacks that she does are just look so smooth. It's from her gymnastics background, as Cole mentioned.
Yeah.
So no, she was clearly the MVP of this match, and it's like it's like she's on the rise, man. She's gonna they're already high on her, but after this, it's like, sky's the limit, man. It's like it's only a matter of time before the rocket is officially put on her back, and she's gonna be holding the gold. It's
only a matter for her and Charlotte, just because it's gonna be Spider-Man.
Oh, good God! When Charlotte comes back, Charlotte versus Tiffany is gonna be one hell of a fucking match, man.
That's a Spider-Man meme of a match, because I mean that's literally Tiffany is kind of the new Charlotte as far as their in-ring styles are pretty much the same. She's just a little bit more athletic as far as because of gymnastics background.
They're pretty much Tiffany versus Charlotte. That will tear that's like banger level potential match. That'll tear the house down.
I really enjoyed the triple the triple threat we got at the end with Liv. Liv was
when
good.
it came down to just Liv, Bianca, and Becky, it's like they were going all out, and the finish was really cool because I was wondering, I was like, okay, Bianca's a match, like who's gonna pin Bianca? Yeah, and I love what happened where it's like Liv just caught her, and then like Becky just capitalized, like immediately grabbed her, manhandle slammed her, and it was like bam 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 done. And like I loved how the camera went to Bianca going no it's like her Mania title shot dreams just like got flushed straight down the toilet, and you could see it in her face. And she's just it was like she was like having trouble processing that she didn't win the match.
Do you know the female wrestler that's been the most Elimination Chambers?
I think it's Liv.
Yep. And I know there's some people that still just think that Liv is not a good wrestler. I'm like, have you watched it at all? Like,
no, she can man. Go. She's really improved, man.
She's really improved. I remember, obviously, I've seen her before, and she had some, she was a little green. This match and the way you have to be on point to do that triple threat at the end. We knew Becky and Bianca can do it, and I knew Liv had it in her. She showed her professionalism in this match.
I think this was the best women's chamber match so far that the women have done, bar done.
They haven't had a Tiffany Stratton to do that.
With Tiffany Stratton and there was a lot of good highlights.
Naomi's like freaking splits from like
Then Naomi got some stuff in it. Unfortunately, she didn't get to do much before Tiffany took her out, but she had some cool moves, especially like that sunset flip bomb she did on Liv off the pod and right before Tiffany pinned her was pretty dope. So let's see. Now, as far as like I don't need to go over the Grace Wallace.
No. It's that's whatever.
It was just like, Seth's almost cleared. Yay. Cody wants to match with The Rock. Okay. That makes sense. Men's chamber match. Men's chamber match was good. It was very interesting seeing what they're setting up for Mania. It was stuff I was not expecting. I get why they want to do AJ versus LA Knight just because the storyline, it makes sense. I think I'll be bluntly honest. I think it's a waste of both of them to have them face each other off of Mania. LA Knight deserves to be in a title match at this point. Would beating AJ be good for him? Yes, but he doesn't need that right now. He needs to get into a title picture at this point because he is still very over. If you listen carefully, not only did they boo AJ out of the building when he destroyed LA Knight, they chanted bullshit when he got pinned. That's not, the crowd was not happy LA Knight went out like that.
Yeah.
It's like when you hear people chanting bullshit, somebody's really over and they're not happy that he didn't win.
Yeah.
So it's like
now the setup stuff, I'm with you as far as what we're getting at Mania kind of surprised me. The match itself,
what Logan Paul did to Orton.
Right. Okay. I mean, as soon as it happened, I'm like, okay. And then I was like thinking about it, I'm like, okay,
I wasn't expecting it. They did a good job, but like I saw him like off camera. I'm like, why is Logan Paul? Actually, they released a video the reason why Logan Paul was still in there was because he was faking being injured and like saying like, oh no, I can't get up. I think I hurt my leg. He was faking it, and so waiting for the right opportunity to hit Orton with the brass knuckles.
Yeah. So yeah,
and so Logan Paul just signed his death warrant when he did that.
That's what I'm saying. Like the LA Knight, just because we're big fans and we need to put gold on him, dude. Just come on. I'm tired of it. But obviously AJ is on my Mount Rushmore. So anytime AJ gets to an LA Knight,
I know, I fucking love.
I just wish that there would be some more. I'm just like, hey, we're gonna have AJ versus LA Knight, and I'm like, for once, I'm like, that's just not what LA Knight needs. And what is AJ? Who, like you said, what do they gain from it? Other than being on the WrestleMania card, because I guarantee you, unless they really go out there and tear the house down, which LA Knight is a fine wrestler. AJ Styles is one of the greatest we've ever seen. So I know it's still going to be fine. But LA Knight is not a tear down the house.
Going to elevate him further than he already is. It's like he's already one of the most over baby faces in WWE right now.
Right.
It's like I think I'm not happy about that. The Logan Paul thing, what he did to Orton, that adds a lot of intrigue to like the U.S. title match because Logan Paul and KO are not done because Kevin Owens, man, was doing everything he can to try to kill Logan Paul in that.
His headbutting against the stuff was awesome.
Oh, I loved when there was a great spot. Kevin Owens, this is why I love Kevin Owens.
He's so good.
When LA Knight was driving Drew McIntyre's head into his pod, he was like punching the glass like he was like punching along with him, and also the spot where it was Logan's turn, but Kevin Owens was right there and just got into the pod and just started to destroy him.
I didn't know if you saw like there's a couple of videos they released. One was Logan Paul, like they gave him a dry erase marker and he like wrote like devil horns. He's like, yeah, I'm the devil. I'm going to ruin all y'all's WrestleMania plans. And then he also wrote Kevin Owens sucks. Like Kevin sucks and then when Kevin got in the pod, he was slamming his head against where he wrote Kevin sucks on that. And then when Randy Orton got on top of Bobby's pod, like Bobby's just sitting there, and then it goes to Kevin, and Kevin's like, Bobby, look up.
Yeah,
and Bobby like looks up and just kind of rolls his eyes, and then goes to Logan Paul, and he's just like, just making.
Kevin Owens is awesome. Period.
Yeah, so it was good there. But other than like the booking situations that like were like kind of head scratchers, but whatever, the match was still solid.
Because like with both chamber matches, there was a little bit of intrigue. Like Orton could have won, but everyone was thinking, it makes sense that
the right guy won.
Yeah, like Becky winning the chamber was very obvious, but it was still well done how the finish came. For the most part, I think it did for Drew, especially because it's like he took advantage of some help. Like after AJ destroyed LA Knight, he pinned him. After Logan Paul knocked Orton out with the brass knuckles, he pinned him to win a match. So it's like, fully embracing the heel stuff where he took advantage of other people screwing certain people over to win the match.
That Claymore to Bobby though, the way they shot it was so clean.
Yep.
The only production I did not like, they didn't snap to Logan doing the body to body off the. They didn't snap to.
Also, I love they did a great job with the camera. Did a great job where they were focused on Paul, where he's just like he's getting all jazzed up. And he's got the brass knuckles out, and then Orton just comes in with the RKO.
The RKO was clean,
and Logan sold it like he'd been like shot dead. It's like
I mean,
it was fantastic.
It sucks how good he is. It just hurts, and how just naturally.
It's amazing. It's crazy how good he's become as a wrestler.
Yeah, and like in one of the matches, like I said, it's very hard to book. He fit right in. He molded right in. His character work was great.
Solid men's chamber match, and the main event. The main event was good. Nia Jax, man, another good match. This is her best after. It's like she had a great match with Becky on Raw back on January 1st, day one. And another one here with Rhea is like, is
that more Rhea or is that the improvement in Nia?
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's improvement on her and also Rhea being able to help carry her a little bit as well. I think because Rhea's that damn good. So yeah, no surprise there. Rhea Becky's finally locked in for Mania as been predicted for a long time. They've been teasing this match for a long time. It's been building for a long time, and in fact, the timing was the day after Elimination Chamber on Sunday. WWE's YouTube loaded up the only match between Rhea and Becky that has happened previously, a match against them on NXT TV from 2019. And spoiler alert, it was a no decision. So neither of them won that match. So that adds a lot of intrigue into like what's going to happen to this match. I think the odds are Rhea's going to keep the title.
Oh, Rhea's going to win. I mean, it's just Rhea. That's the reason I'm so indifferent.
Becky doesn't need to. I love Becky, but she doesn't need to win the title at this point, and her putting over Rhea would help Rhea at this point.
It's more help to Rhea because it's Becky. I mean, honestly, at this point,
Becky's about helping building up other women. I mean, look what she did in her NXT time. She helped boost Tiffany. She helped boost Lyra Valkyria. It's like, so she's going to do the same for Rhea.
I mean, that match that she did with Tiffany was when I came back on our show and was like, oh yeah, you're right. She different. Like that match.
Yeah, that street fight with Becky was fucking amazing.
I was like, oh yeah, you're right. She different on that. So, but yeah, I mean, I know some people are giving Nia. She does have her faults, but her match with Becky was really solid, which sold her as something that could work. Rhea, there was a couple of little things here and there with the match, but it didn't take away. And also, too, as America, we are spoiled because Perth was alive and well this whole time.
That crowd was. Yeah, this is why they keep doing the internet, some of these pay-per-views internationally, because that crowd was hot.
And you look at compared to that to the Rumble, I'm like, come on, guys, step up! Like you're gonna see you're seeing Royal Rumble.
I think we're gonna get that crowd for Philly for Mania.
Oh, dude, we're gonna get it for Philly. Yeah, Philly, Chicago, never disappoints.
The Chicago crowd was awesome for Survivor Series.
Yeah, no, like Chicago's great, but Chicago and Philly, you're gonna get that ECW Philly crowd, and in Chicago it's Chicago.
Yeah.
On that, Florida's not bad in certain areas. New York's maybe sometimes it just depends on where you're at. But Philly and Chicago never disappoint. They get it. Kentucky, they pop most of the time, just because I'm trying to represent my hometown, my home state on that. I mean, it's where OVW is. I mean, it's one of the wrestling.
Overall, a good Elimination Chamber show. Not like a great pay-per-view, but solid.
Not as good as last year, and that's just because of the Sami Zayn thing.
It did what it needed to do to get some more pieces in place for WrestleMania.
Yeah, not as good as last year. That's just because you had that Roman Sami feud and
the Roman Sami match.
So as nothing against this show, you just didn't have that.
It didn't have that.
But as far as the two, like you said, I think this is the best women's Elimination Chamber that I can remember.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. Even though we knew the outcome a mile away, but it didn't matter. It's all about highlighting. It's all about booking and making sure everything looks good. And there was. I don't remember a botch in the women's Elimination Chamber. There wasn't
anything serious. No.
And that little triple threat that they did, a little small triple threat between Bianca, Liv, and Becky, and then Tiffy did her thing, and everyone had their time to shine. It was just a solid show.
Yep.
Star rating 4.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. I'm with you.
That. All right, let's move on to the one thing I previewed before, and hopefully it starts over. Monday Night Raw.
All right, here we go. Here's a recap of Monday Night Raw this week with the follow-up from the Elimination Chamber over the weekend. We opened the show with Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio out in the ring. Rhea talking about beating Nia Jax's pay-per-view in her home country. Becky Lynch came out and they had some words back and forth to hype up their title match at WrestleMania. As Rhea Dom was leaving, Nia Jax appeared and attacked Becky from behind, giving her a big leg drop. Later in the show, Becky demanded Adam Pearce give her a match with Nia Jax next week, and he agreed. Sami Zayn defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. Cal Rodriguez defeated Chelsea Green. We had a segment where Gunther and Imperium came out to the ring. Gunther wondering who will be facing him for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. Mentioned possible challengers like Sami Zayn and Chad Gable. He had crossed paths with Sami, potentially hyping a match between them at Mania earlier. But the Judgment Day surprisingly came out, saying that they definitely want to add more gold to the stable and want a shot at the Intercontinental title. And Gunther said, hey, when one of you want to step up, go right ahead. And Dominic said he wants to face Gunther for the Intercontinental title. Then we had a street fight. Imperium defeating the New Day in a street fight to put a capper on their long-running feud on the show recently. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeated Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell in a tag match. Drew McIntyre came out to cut a promo celebrating his victory in the Elimination Chamber. He mocked CM Punk sitting down using his catchphrases and stuff. Can you continue trolling Punk while he's out injured? He called Seth to come out, and he and Seth had words. And basically, Seth warned Drew not to drag the Bloodline into their title match at Mania after he allowed them to help him win last week over Cody Rhodes. Nia Jax defeated Liv Morgan by disqualification when Becky Lynch appeared and attacked Nia Jax outside the ring while her and Liv were fighting. Set up their match next week. Liv was not happy with Becky interfering in her match. Told her that in the back, not everything is about her. Then the main event match was basically Cody Rhodes defeating Grayson Waller. But what happened after the match was more WrestleMania hype. Paul Heyman showed up with some security guards. Cody was not in the mood for his bullshit and says the Bloodline wants to attack him, just bring it on. Heyman wanted Cody to take The Rock's name out of his mouth and take back challenging The Rock to a match. Cody didn't back down. Eventually, he beat up the security guards before they could hurt him. And Heyman made a call to Roman and The Rock to close out Monday Night Raw. So that's all that happened this week on Raw.
The first thing, we're going to get to the whole show, but the first thing that came to mind at the end of the show with Cody about the Bloodline stuff was from The Watchmen when Rorschach's in prison. And he was like, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked. And he went full Rorschach to me at that point.
Yeah.
He was just like, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. Just like, your Bloodline isn't coming after me. I'm coming after them.
Yeah.
So I just, that was like the first thing, the way he delivered it took me there. And if you're taking me there, that's good shit. That's good shit. As a douchebag used to say. But who, to me, out of this show is going to face Gunther at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship?
That's the big question.
Because if it's Sami, okay. Unfortunately, I'm saying that. I don't want to say that about Sami. I love Sami. But if it's Sami, I'm like, okay. Chad is putting out vignettes now of Chad doing it, which makes, to me right now, that's the more underdog guy that does it. But then what do you do with Sami? What do you do with Kevin? It's just kind of a, and who gets that spot?
Dirty Dom wants a shot at Gunther, even though Rhea Ripley's like, are you effing crazy?
Something's going on with him and Andrade.
Yeah,
I think that's where that's going.
That's the start of something right there.
Yeah, something's going on with him and Andrade, and I'm like, thank you.
And Rhea Ripley was right to be concerned because Gunther can snap Dominic in half without breaking a sweat. He would murderize him.
Yep. Yeah.
He would stand no chance in hell unless there was like massive interference, which is not going to happen because he's got Imperium watching his back too. So that's going to nullify any attempt of Judgment Day to try to do anything.
Right.
It's like, and you think if you think Gunther would be afraid to tangle with Rhea, you're sadly mistaken. Gunther don't give a shit.
No.
You get in his way, he's going to destroy you.
No.
That's how the ring general operates. So the question is, who's it going to be? Either it's going to be one of them, or they're going to do a multi-man title match, and it's going to be all of them.
That's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to.
I think that's the possibility, because if they really want to continue to build Gunther up before, especially getting him into the world title picture and eventually getting the Intercontinental off of him, if they don't want him to get pinned to lose the Intercontinental, the way to do it is have a multi-person ladder match, title match at WrestleMania. That way, someone can win the title.
Ooh, ladder, like that.
Someone can win the title without Gunther taking a pin or submission. So you get the title off of him, his historic reign, but at the same time he can be like, no one has pinned or made me submit in over 2 years, and use that to propel him into the world title picture after Mania, which is I think is clearly where he's going to be, because it's only a matter of time. It's like at this point, he doesn't need the Intercontinental title anymore. He's got the record. He didn't break Honky Tonk Maker's record. He shattered it. He's been Intercontinental champion for almost 2 years now. It's like he won the title in like June of 2022. So so him losing the title at Mania is the perfect time for him to finally give up the title. So it'll be very interesting what's going to happen. I don't see Tama is not going to get a one-on-one match with him at WrestleMania. It's like that's not a WrestleMania match. That's a slaughter.
No.
I'm very interested to see where this is going to go. There's a lot
Sammy. It's Sammy, Chad for sure. I think those two, if they do a multi-person match.
At this point, there's only two people I see that make sense of taking the title from him. It's either Sammy or Chad.
Yeah. And they're definitely
either one. I'd lean a little more toward Chad because I think Chad needs a little more. Because Sammy's talking about winning a championship. He's already been Intercontinental champion before. He's won it a couple times.
That was his Fidel Castro weird run, but
yeah. When he did a great job when he was a heel as IC champ, but it's like him winning the world championship eventually is where what I want to see for him. But who knows? I can see Triple H giving him that kind of a moment for Mania, but I think it would.
Chad needs it. Chad
needs that kind of a moment.
Yeah, especially after all the Shorty G bull crap.
And plus it makes more sense for him at this point, storyline wise, even though they kind of put it on the back burner for a while after what happened with Gunther and his daughter and everything. He's really motivated to dethrone the ring general. So it's like, I'm leaning toward more Chad winning. I would like to see that a little bit more than Sammy. Would I be upset if Sammy won the title for him? No. And I think it'd be a great moment for him. But I think Chad needs that boost a little bit more. But yeah, it's like I want to see stuff for Sammy, so it's kind of like it's hard. So
yeah, it's definitely like and plus they like you said, they put it on the back burner, and then this week's Raw, he literally went to Adam Pearce and talked about what sucked about I want that IC title because he brought up not only did
he put up that video on Twitter,
and then they put up that video, and then not only did I lose it, I'm like, yes, they're finally bringing it back.
Yeah.
And they're doing it right, so he's going to be at WrestleMania fighting for it. But then what do you do? So do you do a triple threat? Well, they did the triple threat last year with McIntyre and Sheamus. So I'm like, you've got to do a step. You got to do a step, like you said. It stinks because I'd rather have someone pin or submit Gunther to legitimize it because it's not going to hurt Gunther even when he goes for.
And plus, think about it: a ladder match with Gunther and think about it. Gunther, multi-person ladder match. Gunther defending against Sammy, Chad, Dirty Dom, throw it in Andrade, and one other person. He got maybe Bronson Reed if he because Bronson's been trying to get another shot at Gunther too, so you could throw him in the mix. Yeah. That'd be those 6 in a ladder match, free for all. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's decent booking there, especially when they're pivoting from Brock Lesnar, because that's what was supposed to be the match, and we all knew that. The world title picture is pivoted because CM Punk got hurt.
But if it had been Brock, Gunther would have
won.
Gunther would win.
Yeah,
he would not be losing to Brock or dropping the title.
No. So, which, I mean, it's still
this opens the door for someone to get a big boost by beating him for the title.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Kofi thing when Mustafa Ali got hurt. Another thing I wanted to, Paul Heyman needs more cell phones. Dude, you can call the same guy on one phone, dog.
Like, does he need freaking two? Heyman.
Whatever. And then the fact that people were even booing him during his I'm doing my shtick. Can you let me do it?
Can you let me do my shtick?
Yeah. I did like that. Obviously the Becky and then the Liv thing. I even said dude, Becky, why you getting in with Liv's business? And then she literally was just like, why are you in my business? Like, okay, good. They did the right thing because my mind went exactly to that with Liv. The Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Candice LeRae, cool. I mean, all right. Because Shayna and Zoe need that more than Candice and Indy do. They just, to me, that they're whatever.
I think they're eventually going to get that title shot. But they got probably soon. But Kabuki Warriors got a very interesting title defense coming up that we'll get into when we get into it.
We'll get into it. I'm definitely looking forward to that. All right, let's get to your boy. What a promo. Dude just is on fire.
CM Punk, man. He's just fucking killing it. He just keeps killing it, dude.
On fire.
Wait. Look, we this is where we can bring up. All right, everyone's wondering what is he? Has he resigned or he has not resigned? It's just nobody's confirmed that he's resigned. But I mean, I think they think if they didn't think he was gonna that they're gonna work out something or that it's near being worked out, what he's doing, continuing to troll CM Punk, sets up an absolutely mind-blowingly awesome feud between the two of them when Punk returns from the torn tricep, because he has been trolling CM Punk so hard ever since the Rumble. During Elimination Chamber, he tried to do a GTS. And he's even mocking the GTS and going to sleep.
Someone said it was something. They called it something else. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, it's and then he sits down cross-legged in the ring, Punk style, and it's like he's trolling the fuck out of CM Punk. So he's got to be coming back because, dear God, that feud with CM Punk when he comes back, Punk is going to want to destroy him so bad. It's going to be off the heat for that feud will be off the friggin' charts.
Yeah. And then his line of, Punk, I know you're straight edge, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I drank enough for the both of us.
I drank enough for the both of us.
Yeah. And then Seth came out, did what Seth does.
Oh, Doc, you ruptured your eardrum. It was like, Doc, who do you think I am? CM Punk? I'm not missing WrestleMania.
Right. Exactly.
Dude. My man is just killing it.
Your boy's on. He's been on one for a while.
That's why I keep wearing this shirt every week because he's killing it.
I will put this question, because our good friend John Roca said, if it wasn't for CM Punk, McIntyre would not be as over as he is right now. I think he probably would, but I'm not going to sit there and say CM Punk didn't help.
Because he's getting the heat because he's trolling CM Punk and the fans love Punk, and so it's like the fact that he continues to mock and troll him, it's like it's drawing the heat. So when Punk comes back and attacks him when he is 100% cleared to get back into the ring, fans are gonna lose their fucking shit.
and I also think that also plays into how talented McIntyre is, but also shows just how much of a icon that CM Punk is now.
Yeah,
because you can literally troll someone and become even bigger because you're trolling the guy that everyone knows. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it just CM Punk as at that level to where he can just go out and just troll him forever and just create so much heat off a guy who's hurt.
Surprised if CM Punk comes back lower, he's probably gonna rehab the fuck like John Cena style, come back as soon as possible, because the him Drew feud is going to be fucking money.
Well, him, Drew,
I can't wait for it.
And Seth didn't give like, he's talking about having like a fragile mind, fragile body. Who does that remind you of? Like, he said that off screen, obviously the Hot One stuff. So Seth isn't giving up his vitriol towards CM Punk.
Oh yeah, no, it's like Seth Punk is going to happen like next year.
Yeah.
It's that you pencil that in for next year's WrestleMania, because it was supposed to be this year's WrestleMania until they both got her at the same, almost one right after the other.
Yeah.
So although once is more serious, it's like Seth's actually going to be able to. Looks like he's going to be able to wrestle at Mania after all, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah. The last couple things. One is, I've never seen a street fight that used less weapons that tore the house down. They hardly did anything, and it's like, as far as weapon wise, because like a street fight, right? No rules, and they really did a lot of kendo sticks and but they really didn't use a whole lot of, like the Texas death matches that we're looking at AEW, which still tore the house down. Shout out Swerve and Hangman, but they still tore the house down, doing a lot with little. With that, so that's just shout out to the New Day and Imperium of just really
they killed it, and big win for Imperium.
I knew they were going over, because like, again, it's kind of the same thing as like, what does the New Day need to do? It just sucks that Big E is, I don't think he's going to come back.
They've done everything they could, so putting another tag team over like that it helps Imperium, especially for the tag title picture.
Yeah, because the New Day is made, right? They're at that made level to where they could come back, win the titles, and no one would be like, "Oh, I can't believe." Yeah, like the New Day is at the point of like, "Oh, I can't believe they won the titles." That will never be said ever.
Yeah,
they're at that level. Like, they've won what, 10 titles at this 10
title reigns? It's like I forget if they or the Usos have the most title reigns at this point.
I think the Usos had the longest title reign.
The Usos have the longest tag title reign. I think New Day has more title reigns than
I have more title reigns. I remember the
Edge and
Christian,
because the Dudley Boys had the record for a while for most tag team title reigns, and New Day passed them a few years ago.
Because Edge and Christian were right. Because I remember way back when, I don't know why I remember this little backstage segment when Christian and Edge were kind of like about to break up, and Christian was just like, "Dude, let's go challenge for I think this is right after Edge won the King of the Ring. For the first time, he was carrying around that big ass Unforgod trophy. Remember that shit? And Christian comes in and was like, "Dude, we should go win the titles again. Become the Octopus for our 8-time reign." He was doing all that stuff. So I think the New Day are right up there. Dudley.
12. They've been tag team champions 12 times. Dudley Boys 10. So like they passed them a while ago. Usos have been tag team champions 8 times, but they have the longest title reign.
Okay. Now. So, but yeah, like I said, like, they're made. Like, so if they win the tag team titles again, everyone's gonna be like, "Okay, cool." Like,
originally the longest tag title reign belonged to Demolition. Then New Day passed it just a bit, and then the Usos broke it last year before they dropped them to Sami and KO at Mania.
Yeah. All right. And then the one thing I will say. So this is the big show, SmackDown. It's so many people are obviously the Bloodline. The whole Bloodline is going to be there. The Rock's already been there. Seth is now going to be on the show. Cody's going to be in the show. But Jey Uso's got to be on the show, right?
They have to follow up on Jimmy screwing him out of winning the Intercontinental title. It's like there has to be some fallout. Jey has to retaliate.
Yeah, like Jey has to be on the show because obviously if Cody's hunting,
him not being on Raw makes sense. He's probably still nursing his wounds after what his brother did to him. But it's like he does. If they really want to build this brother versus brother matchup properly, he needs to show up on SmackDown and want to kill Jimmy.
I will have so much member berries after Cody cut that promo saying I'm hunting the Bloodline.
Yeah.
Because you know how Shawn Michaels is like rehashing old storyline stuff.
Don't hunt what you can't kill.
Right. He's gonna do that Stone Cold. He's gonna do that. I think Triple H is gonna do that Stone Cold DX thing, where like the remember the where he remember that whole thing of like the ceiling fell down on Road Dogg, X-Pac got hit in a bear trap or some crap. So I'm like, is Cody gonna do the Stone Cold thing of like rehashing storylines? We're gonna do the memory barriers for it. I don't think they will, but I will start laughing in like all right, we're doing this type of like thing reaction to it. But I think Jey Uso, because Seth's gonna be there, Cody's gonna be there. I think we have to get Jey eventually.
Yeah.
And plus Jey confronting The Rock and the rest of the bloodline.
Yeah. That's
a dynamite ass segment.
Yep.
And it's because of Jimmy that Jey is even there.
Yep.
So that's the only thing I plus him and Drew like having that little brawl at the back, whatever. That they'll never just like it's kind of like Kevin Owens and Sammy for like 3 years straight, like they're always going to just be fighting each other type of thing. So I don't know what it's going to be Jimmy and Jey at WrestleMania, and I'm going to be as hyped for that as much as I am for LA Knight and AJ Styles. Pretty much they've got to pump Jimmy up. They have to pump Jimmy up because Jey is so much more over than Jimmy is.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like that Jimmy's a bad wrestler, and his character work with his whole like handing out his high five. I laugh that shit all the time. He tries a high five solo for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And his work he's so hilarious. But when it comes to a feud, you can't be laughing, jokey, buddy crap, and then go against main event Jey Uso, who is so over right now. Like it just, you got to let me buy into it. But I know the two of them want to do it. I think they're going to let them do it. So, what are your thoughts on that before we flip to AEW and NXT?
Both were pretty good shows this week. Dynamite was a pretty solid final build show. It's not like the final go home show because
I'll talk about Raw. We'll get to AEW. I'm saying before we get to AEW and stuff, as far as
I have nothing else to say. Is like I agree with you. Overall, a solid Raw to follow up from Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought the only thing the last segment was fine, but I thought that it was just like they lacked what they really need to do, but they did enough. The Cody promo really made it work for me. If it wasn't for Cody, I thought I was like when Paul Heyman came out, I was like, even though Paul, they did kind of, I like the way they always subtly like you have to watch those backstage segments because it'll show certain people that you didn't think were going to be the show because Paul Heyman walked behind somebody, I forget.
Yeah, like he was shown backstage in the background. So
right on that. So yeah, but no, like you said, like an overall good Raw to build to WrestleMania.
Yep.
On that, and we will go to AEW, which is the go home show before Revolution, correct?
Yeah, one of the go home shows because it's got Rampage and Collision, but this
go home show. Let's go home show.
Yep. Hello, folks. Here we go with the recap of AEW. Nothing too much happened on Collision, so we're just going to talk about Dynamite. This was a go home show for Dynamite before the AEW Revolution pay-per-view this Sunday. Show opened with Hangman and Page coming out, walking on a crutch, saying that he's not going to be able to wrestle the pay-per-view. Swerve came out and actually seemed a little bit sympathetic. Samoa Joe came out and sort of cut a promo on him about he's going to beat him for the title at the pay-per-view. But Hangman was faking it. He attacked Swerve behind with the crutch, revealing that he was not injured, and the three-way dance between the three of them for the AEW title is still on. Then we had the Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley, Claudio, Bryan Danielson defeated FTR and Eddie Kingston in a six-man tag. Danielson choking Eddie out to build momentum for their title match at the pay-per-view. Been occurring a bit that began with the Bucks interrupting Renee, trying to interview Eddie Kingston. They were holding bats, and they were hunting for Sting and Darby, looking all over the arena for him. Then we had Tony Schiavone welcome Will Ospreay officially to AEW in the ring. Ospreay talked about all the things he's done so far in AEW, and now that he's official All League, he's decided to be here. The Don Callis family came out with Callis, of course, and he hyped up Ospreay versus Takeshita at the pay-per-view. Two shook hands, but also made sure that they got in each other's face, showing that all's fair in love and business. And then we had Orange Cassidy taking on defending the international title against Nick Wayne in open challenge. Christian and the rest of the Patriarchy got kicked out by the ref at ringside when he caught him interfering. Undisputed Kingdom showed up trying to mess with Orange again, but the best friends appeared to back up Orange. Orange Cassidy, of course, picked up the victory. Roderick Strong immediately attacked Orange after the bell, but the best friends chased the Undisputed Kingdom from the ring. Then we had Sky Brood defeating Chris Statlander in a one-on-one match, thanks to some interference from Julia Hart, who hit Chris with the TBS title belt behind the ref's back, allowing Sky to hit Cold Blue on Statlander for the win. Then Chris Jericho in Lionheart form took on Lance Jr. of CMML. And Jericho won the match when he had Lance Jr. Lion Tamer, and his father, who was his second at ringside, threw in the towel for him. There was then announced that the supposed meat match that was going to happen at the pay-per-view was not, and it had turned into basically a gigantic all-star scramble match with 8 people, including Jericho, Hobbs, Hook, Lance Archer, Wardlow, Brian Cage, and 2 others who will be determined by matches on Rampage and Collision this weekend. Whoever wins this match will get an AEW World Title shot. And the main event segment was the Bucks looking around for Sting and Darby Allin. Darby was disguised as a Sting fan at ringside, attacked the Bucks, but he was out number 2-1, and they got the advantage. Ric Flair came out. They offered Darby on a plate for him, but Rick refused, and so they low-blowed Rick and beat him up a bit. Bucks called out for Sting, and in a really cool moment, Sting dropped down from the rafters on a harness, just like he did back in WCW. He and Darby then proceeded to beat the crap out of the Young Bucks and send them backing as the pair, along with Ric Flair, stood tall in the ring, close out the show. So that's all that happened this week on AEW Dynamite.
All right, I do. Unfortunately, since we were on the show last week, I do want to highlight as far as AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I want to highlight the Wardlow promo from last week.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, because also the Sting promo that he cut as well was fucking money. Wardlow cut the promo of his career last week.
Dude had it wasn't a pipe bomb type thing, but dude just I did not know he had that in him.
No,
and I mean it was fluid. It wasn't all over the place.
Yep.
It cut. It did well. Where has this Wardlow promo?
Really,
because we've heard these promos before that he's done. It's just been like, okay, fine, whatever. You're just some big meaty man slapping meat type guy. This was amazing.
Yeah. And he took like what people have been saying about like how his pushes have been installed when they shouldn't have, about like the Rocket was strapped on him upside down. It is like I was like oh, that was a hell of a line. And talking about like CM Punk beat him, MJF beat him, Samoa Joe I beat him. It's like I should be getting a fucking title shot. It's like I've beaten all the people that you guys who've been champion who have been the best. Just absolutely killed it. So Tony Khan is an idiot if Wardlow doesn't win this scramble match, because as far as this meat match, people are confused because he said that some people that he wanted the match were not able to be in the match, so he changed it to a bigger multi-person match. The winner is going to get a world title shot. So he's thrown in. It's still got Hobbs and Archer, but it's also got Chris Jericho and a couple other people thrown in. 2 other people are going to be determined on matches on Rampage and Collision. Now that it's a title shot, Wardlow's winning this. Wardlow has to win this match.
Mm-hmm.
After that, he has to win this match.
A couple of nuggets with it. I thought, if you notice, he called himself. He goes, "I'm the true megastar." I'm like, why is LA Knight got to be part of it? Like, he did that. he said I beat CM Punk so bad he can't stay healthy in the other place. I thought that was not other place, but you get what I'm saying. Like he alluded to the fact that I beat him up so bad that he can't stay healthy. It's such a master class of a promo. I went back and watched. I was like, did he just cut like one of the best promos I've seen?
That was the night it's like between that and Sting, it was just like, damn it. Sting's promo
that hit me in the,
especially talking about how his father recently passed away. It was just I was like, right. Oh
damn. And then so after those two, going to this week when Sting came down from the rafters, I was like, oh damn, they did.
Oh man, that's the right kind of nostalgia moment for people like me who grew up during the Monday Night Wars in the Attitude Era. Seeing him come down from the rafters, like Crow Sting style, that was a nice move. That was a really smart move. The fans went nuts for it. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Solid. So I really like the match between Blackpool and FTR.
Oh yeah, the 6-man opener was great.
That was awesome. What the heck? Dude, Rick, just don't do anything physical for the rest of your life.
Oh, that was the only bad thing about that.
Oh my god, just don't do anything physical.
No, don't have Rick do anything physical.
Don't.
Cody,
stop.
for the love of God.
For love of God, don't do that. The Young Bucks are like, I love their character work.
Barely throw a punch.
Yeah, he can barely do it, and just like I was just like sitting up like, Young Bucks, just go eat. Stop.
They had to gently knock him down.
Yeah, it was like a Hulk Hogan chair shot of like how physical they had to get to him.
Oh god.
With that, and you know, the show was fine. I liked. I mean, obviously the Hangman stuff. Swerve, give me that.
Yeah,
all day,
it looks
day.
like Hangman's going to be embracing a heel turn, especially after that. I had a feeling he was faking it, but as soon as like Swerve started talking about the things he did to Hangman, I was like, yeah, he's about to get a crutch in the back.
Well, Swerve is it's like the one thing of like Swerve is so over that he becomes a face, but he's not going to be like the, hey guys, let's do this.
He's not like a happy-go-lucky baby face.
No, like he's anti-hero, which is fine. It's not like the biggest wrestler of all time that made the most money of all time was hey guys, let's do it.
He's not going to win the title. I think Hangman's is going to get taken down by Joe for him to keep the title because Joe's not losing the title just yet.
No, Hangman's going to get the pin,
but he's not. Swerve's not taking the pin. No, because Swerve's going to eventually win that title eventually. So
I think, I don't know if like how long do you think Joe's going to be the champion?
Only maybe like another pay-per-view or two at the most.
Okay. It should be Swerve should have it for like an MJF level run, I think. Because Swerve deserves it. I mean, he's built. Obviously, Prince Nana deserves it because he's helped Swerve, but Swerve is just everything you throw at Swerve, he takes it and ramps it up to 11. So on that, so. I'm liking that. I'm really interested to see now that we're gonna have after this weekend, we're gonna have Okada and
Ospreay's gonna have a face turn very soon. He's not long to be a member of the Outcast family. That was very clearly telegraphed in that segment.
Mm-hmm. So I'm very interested to see what Okada and Ospreay do, and I'm gonna put that solely on the new hire.
I do have a complaint about this episode. Orange Cassidy having a title match before Roddy Strong is a waste of time. Because and it's and I like Nick Wayne's young and obviously experienced, but that match was a absolute waste of time because it's like you knew the outcome. It's just a matter of when the Undisputed Kingdom was going to attack him, either during the match or after the match.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Nick Wayne was not winning that match. It's like come on. It's like it felt like a waste of time. They could have done something a little different.
The Undisputed Kingdom would rule all if Adam Cole didn't get hurt.
I think the group would be doing more and be more over if he wasn't hurt. Him being hurt has hurt them, but they can fix that with the way to fix it at the pay-per-view is Strong takes the title from Orange and Wardlow becomes number one contender.
No, I think that's 1,000%
those
going to
two things
happen.
have to happen.
No, Roderick is going to win.
Yeah,
there's been multiple reports saying Roderick's going to win.
Yeah, no, it's like he has to win at this point.
And then after that promo that Wardlow cut,
he has to win that scramble match to get the number one contender, because that way they have more gold. Roddy gets title, and then Wardlow gets dibs on Samoa Joe, like they've been saying was going to happen. So, and that's going to add intrigue because of the whole thing that Adam Cole said, that like Wardlow's going to win the title and then he's going to give it to me. Very much like when DiBiase paid off Andre the Giant to beat Hogan, so and then he was going to give him the title afterwards,
right?
Which he did.
So going back to that, did Wardlow always have that in, like who put him to promo class? Like, because I've listened to his promos, it's very much as I am Wardlow, I will beat you type of stuff, and his in-ring work is fine. I mean, even actually, it's in-ring work is solid.
Fuck up his push again after that promo. He cannot.
No,
because otherwise, then you might as well just release him and let him go over to WWE, because you've completely.
Oh, after that promo, he earned himself a bidding war, because when you give him to the system that is the WWE with what he just cut.
Oh God, Triple H would love to have Wardlow. You know he would.
Oh yeah, I mean Vince McMahon would have loved to have Wardlow just because he's a big dude, whatever. But especially Triple H, I mean he knows what to do with talent when it's there. On that, but but no, I want to touch on that. The only big complaint, the only two big complaints that I had about this show, I love the Young Bucks character work these days. Yeah, I think that's just so good with what they're doing, and the fact that they don't, and then like they're totally going into it, so they don't do the BTE anymore. It's totally being the Dark Order as far as their YouTube channel is concerned, which is still hilarious. That stuff's pretty funny if you want to go look at that. But one day they're going to figure out what to do with Sky Blue. I don't know when that's going to be, but one day they're going to figure it out.
She's gotten really good in the ring, so they need to give her something. Unfortunately, what's hurt is that Julia Hart's been hurt recently, which she hasn't wrestled in a while. Yeah, which definitely has hurt the women's division, because it's like it's put any kind of like TBS title feud in on hold until she can actually get in the ring.
Also, before this, go ahead.
Yeah. One last thing. The only other complaint I have is no Timeless Tony or Deanna on the show. That was also a mistake, because they've done a really good job of building up their title match. Shout out to like what Tony did last week with the lipstick and everything. She's still killing it. Yeah. And then afterwards she cut a killer promo that from backstage, hyping up the title match against Deanna. So it's like, I really hope Tony and Deanna deliver this with this title match.
If you want to get hyped up, that's getting where I was alluding to. Deanna Purrazzo just did an interview with Sean Ross Sapp. So if you want to get a little hyped up, she did just do an interview. I just now saw that before we went live. He did an interview with her. I was like, oh, I got to jump over and watch that, because they talked about how their friendship has made this feud really good because of how close they are, about the tattoos and all that stuff like that. Which I didn't know.
Job of gelling their history and using that.
Yeah. Was like we said, is this too early for this feud? Maybe, but but it's their. I'm buying. Who else makes sense other than Deanna, right? As far as people who kept up with wrestling,
she's the other biggest name they got right now that's not injured, outside of Mercedes, who's about to debut soon. Anyway,
yeah. After this pay-per-view is going to. Don't fuck this up now, Tony. You're getting ready to have
once Mercedes
you're going to have Will Ospreay on your books. You're going to have Okada, and you're going to have Mercedes.
It's like you can't.
Jesus Christ! Don't fuck it up.
Keep the booking consistent, Tony. Don't fuck this up, because you got three big, really talented wrestlers coming in one after the other here. Well, Ospreay, everyone knew that was coming, but it's like the officially Okada and Mercedes have not been. Like mentioned as coming, like those are going to be like the surprise reveals.
Mercedes, I don't think Mercedes is going to be at Boston though. She's not going to be at Revolution.
Yeah, no. We people are also assuming that Okada is going to be saved for Boston as well, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see. It's like Okada's going to be showing up soon, whether it's before the Boston show or at Revolution. Who knows? We'll see.
All right, yeah, but those are kind of crazy they're like very minimal complaints, but still decent go home show for AEW, and I'm ready to see. I'm intrigued. I've been ready for this Revolution pay-per-view for
this pay-per-view staff.
The one thing people always give shit about AEW, dude, their pay-per-views deliver.
We'll do a quick rundown of the pay-per-view after NXT.
Yep. All right, here we go.
All right, here we go with a recap of this week's episode of NXT. As building up to next week's Roadblock special episode. Show opened with Ilya Dragunov in the ring, calling out Carmelo Hayes. Hayes came out with security to keep between the two of them. Talked about how he hated Dragunov is, and that he refuses to get in the ring until he sees a contract giving him a title shot against Ilya at Stand and Deliver WrestleMania weekend. Ilya took out security just to show that he can, and they had a square off in the ramp, hyping up their match. Potential match, that is. More on that later. Kiana James defeated Kalani Jordan in a one-on-one matchup. The Good Brothers defeated Andros Enfo and Malik Blade. After the match, Keishiru came down to confront the Good Brothers for attacking them last week. So did Nathan Frazier and Axiom, saying that they got dibs on the Good Brothers. The babyfaces bicker, and then the LWO of all people showed up and attacked the Good Brothers as well. All the while, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, the NXT Tag Team Champions, watched from afar. Roxanne Perez defeated Shakira Jackson with a submission, picking up a victory. Dijak defeated Luca Crucifino. Joe Gacy appeared, showing that he had escaped the asylum that Dijak had locked him up in and attacked him. And Ava made a silent match between the two for Roadblock next week. Lara Valkyria came out, cut a promo, wished Shotzi speedy recovery from the ACL surgery. Then called out Tatum Paxley. Paxley acting still very creepy, but Lara thanked her for not interfering in the match last week. So as a thank you, she announces that they will team up to face the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag team titles next week on Roadblock. Ridge Holland came out and interrupted them and basically, took their place in the ring, talking about what they did with Gals last week and apologizing for going too far. Before he could get to say too much, all of a sudden he was interrupted by text and a voiceover in the style of the Three Faces teasers we've been getting lately. And then all of a sudden, a mysterious person walloped him in the back with a chair. Crowd went nuts, and the man pulled off his hood, and the crowd even went more crazy, revealing it was Shawn Spears. Yes, Shawn Spears, formerly known as Ty Dillinger, has returned to WWE, surprisingly, and in NXT. Von Wagner defeated Lex King in a match. Jada Parker defeated Gigi Dolan, thanks to some interference from Ironic Grace. Charlie Dempsey defeated Noam Dar 2 falls to 1 to become the new NXT Heritage Cup champion. And then finally, a main event segment, Ilya and Mello in the ring with Ava for a contract signing, but Tony D'Angelo interrupted the proceedings. He says that while Mello is here demanding a title match, he wants to earn a title match at Stand and Deliver with Ilya Dragunov. Ilya says that he's piqued his interest and he respects he's willing to work for his position. Ava agrees and declares that it will be Carmelo Hayes versus Tony D'Angelo next week at Roadblock, the number 1 contenders match. The winner will face Ilya Dragunov for the NXT title at Stand and Deliver. Tony and Mello talked trash. Tony accidentally elbowed Ilya in the face, letting Mello put Tony through the table and then sign the contract to close out the show. So that's all that happened this week on NXT.
So have you noticed how Cody Rhodes, Jade Cargill, and Shawn Spears have the exact same presentation that they developed in AEW? Someone pointed that out, and I already noticed that because they didn't. I was like, oh, because you were like Shawn Spears is back, and I was like, okay, let me go back and watch. and then they literally called him Sean Spears. They didn't say Ty Dillinger anymore,
Nope.
and he literally
That's
came out with the chair and like all that. I'm like, that was all established AEW. Cody established the American Nightmare in AEW. Jake Cargill is still Jake Cargill. That was there. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But damn, Tony, get some lawyers, dog.
Sean Spears showing up caught everyone by surprise. Nobody reported this or saw this coming. Word is apparently Sean HBK kept this so top secret that nobody knew until literally before before he showed up in the building. They were so this was a really shocking. As soon as I saw him, I was like, that by it. And then as soon as I heard people lose it, I heard 10 chants. And I was like, oh shit, no way. And then when he pulled his hood off, they went nuts. I was like, it is Sean Spears. And then it even more surprising when Vic was like, is that Sean Spears? I was like, holy shit! They're not calling him Ty Dillinger.
No. And I'm like, I understand Jade, I understand Cody, right? But keeping that presentation that they established in AEW, he's not Ty Dillinger doing the 10 shit. He is literally the chairman, Sean Spears, because he came out, hit Ridge Holland with the chair. They had the same, obviously he still had the hood stuff when he first.
And all those vignettes that have been airing lately,
right?
Those were teases for him,
right?
Everyone was wondering, who is this? Who are these teases for? It's like, good job. They kept this top secret. It was quite the surprise this week. It's like I was like, holy shit, Sean Spears.
Right. And
we're to see what he's going to do in NXT. Obviously, he's going right into a feud with Ridge Holland. So
yeah, I can't wait for all the fantasy bookers now. Like, oh, are we going to get Peyton back now? Just because
yeah.
I would give me Iconics yesterday. They're hilarious.
I miss the Iconics.
I miss the Iconics so much, but they kind of are just moved on. Same thing with Mike Mandy Rose. But
interesting things going on here.
Okay, give it to me. We're not gonna get to my girl yet. Just give me other stuff.
Okay, we'll save Roxanne for last because it's like I'll let you go on Roxanne.
Yeah, I let you get McInTYRE last. Let me get Roxanne last.
Sure. So a lot of interesting stuff building here. I mean, they got the Roadblock special set up for next week. Got some big matches there. Obviously, more set up for Stand and Deliver. So the Tony D'Angelo getting into the title mix was teased last week. Where he's like, no, Stacks, we're not going after tag team titles. It's like I need to see that. I'm gonna figure. I was like, oh, is he gonna go into the next topic? And yep, he sure did.
Okay.
So instead of rubber stamping another Mello Ilya Dragunov match, we have Tony D'Angelo versus Carmelo next week. Winner gets Ilya at Stand and Deliver. So what's gonna happen? Whoop that trick is what's gonna happen next week.
I was getting ready to say Trick wasn't on the show, right?
Trick has not been on the show since he attacked him at Vengeance Day.
Good booking.
So Trick is gonna be back next week at Roadblock, and he's gonna get the step one of his revenge on Mello. He's gonna screw Mello out of the title shot, and that will set up Trick versus Mello at Stand and Deliver.
Okay.
So Tony D versus Ilya, that's a very interesting title match.
To me, anything with Ilya in it can't suck.
No, and Tony's become really good in the ring. So he's done really well in the tag team. It's like I like what I see. So that has potential to be a pretty good match, honestly.
Okay.
Got Dijak versus Joe Casey in a silent match. That's been a wild feud between those two guys. I'm very intrigued about Lyra and Tatum Paxley against Kabuki Warriors, because obviously they're not going to be beating the Kabuki Warriors for the titles. It's just like, what's going to happen?
Okay, here's a question when I saw the rundown. How good is Tatum?
You know what? She's really won me over. She's doing the crazy stalker thing in a good way, where it's like you see the unhinged, and like you see Lyra getting like when she gets like really wet, like out there, like making her uncomfortable. but right now it's in the she means well face, but it's very obvious that she's not right in the head.
Right.
It's like, but she means well.
As far as her in-ring work, because we know.
No, she's actually pretty good in the ring.
Okay, because we know Lara and the Kabuki Warriors are great.
Yeah.
Tatum is the unknown that I don't know. I haven't watched enough of Tatum.
And that's where I'm wondering, like, is Roxanne going to play a role in what's going to happen in this tag team match? Because she's not happy.
Anything else before we get to that part? We didn't.
What's going on with the tag team scene where everyone like the Good Brothers come in and pissed everybody off, and they're like, "What the fuck are you guys doing here?" It's like, you're in our way. We want our hands on Braun and Corbin. It's like it's and Braun and Corbin are just like sitting back and it's like, you know. I also did like the verbal exchange between the Good Brothers, Braun and Corbin.
Inject that into my veins.
That's going to be a hell of a tag team match.
Carl, here's a thing that I will say about the Good Brothers, and I love the Good Brothers. I think they're one of the most entertaining dudes ever because I listen to so many of their podcasts. And Chad Too Bad and I forget what Doc Gallows went by. But Doc Gallows is just so clunky in the ring at sometimes, whereas Carl Anderson can go. I've seen his G1 stuff.
Yeah,
he can freaking go. That's why when he came to WWE and he was just being just a. That's the one thing that I did not like that I've not liked about Carl Anderson in the WWE. He's like, that dude can go. He's fine on the mic. He was a leader of the Bullet Club, guys.
Yep.
Like he's got. If you're the leader of the Bullet Club, you've got it. At least it enough. I would say that.
I like the trash talk between the four of them after they had their match. That was good stuff.
And he also just had his 5th kid. Okay, he needs the money.
Yeah.
On that. So yeah, that's the one thing. Is just like Doc a lot of times. Yeah.
Yeah. Chase Hughes getting the title shot against Braun and Corbin next week. I don't think they're beating them just yet. I think we're getting Good Brothers versus Braun and Corbin at Stand and Deliver.
Gotcha.
That's where I think it's going.
All right. So,
and I could see the Good Brothers winning the titles.
Gotcha. All right. So anything else before we move on to?
All right. Let's get to what's going on with Roxanne.
All right. Number 1, I sent it to you, and I said this as a joking thing a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
About finishing the story. And I was like, oh, I was talking about Roxanne Perez. I wasn't talking about Cody Rhodes. And she literally posted it this week of finish. She had the title belt, said finishing her story. And I sent it to you, and it was a typo because it meant to say that this book is a better read. This book, not like the book is a better read. Like this book is a better read than Cody's. Like that was the whole thing. And then I was like, looked at it, I was like, oh, that joke didn't land because I typoed it. But I would just like the way they're building it is like, let's finish the story of Roxanne Perez finally getting back what is rightfully hers for the rest of time. And her character work has gone up to 11. Her in-ring work was already there, but
and you feel it's justified. Like her being pissed off about like Lash Legend. It's like Lash Legend stole another chance from me because I was in the freaking shower. It's like it's like she's acting like it's like the whole universe against me. It's like.
Yeah. And then the thing, like after you had Sean Spears come out, like do like the why did you do this, and he did like the cryptic like. Ridge Holland needed this crap. I don't know. I wasn't really a big fan of it. I thought that it was too cryptic.
It was very weird.
Very weird. I was like, all right, whatever. You just had a really good
comeback.
But then Roxanne coming out and just being like, I don't want to talk to nobody.
And then she'd it's like she destroyed her opponent, man. It's like I love seeing her use the crossface, man. It's just she's embracing the dark side, man. It's like the dark side. The dark side is luring her Roxanne over, and at this point, I'm fine with it because I think it's leading to her beating Lyra for the title at Stand and Deliver.
I just wish there was enough time
because at some point Paxley is going to cost her the title.
I want so bad. At the end of ever of wrestling is to have Roxanne versus AJ Lee. Just to have that, like we're gonna get Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte, which is the Spider-Man meme. We're probably gonna get Bianca and Jade Cargill, which is the Spider-Man meme. The Spider-Man meme will be complete. We'll get 3 phases of the Spider-Man meme if we get AJ Lee versus Roxanne Perez. Because that's why I like Roxanne, because AJ Lee was ahead of her time, way ahead of her time, and as far as in-ring work and all that, and just that type of build, everything like that. And Roxanne has surpassed her just because she's been on TV and stuff a little bit longer, and they've used her correctly than AJ Lee. But that's my like dream match. It's like the Undertaker Sting stuff, like you always dreamed about, like seeing Undertaker and Sting. I dream about seeing AJ Lee and Roxanne just having something. Because that Becky, ever since I saw the Becky Trish stuff and it worked, I've been like, oh, what legend do I want to see facing up?
I just don't see AJ coming out of retirement. I think
no, it's not. That's why I'm saying it's a dream.
Yeah,
not a thing. But no, Roxanne.
If they can't even lure her to like making a Rumble appearance, I just don't see her doing anything like that.
Quit. Just let me have this, okay? Just. Okay.
I know.
I know you're being a realist, and I understand it. Just let me have this.
Okay.
But no, Jade and Bianca are going to tear the house down. Charlotte and Tiffany are going to tear the house down. Of women's wrestlers right now, of the matchups that I want, those
Jade
two.
Rhea is also going to be a badass.
Oh, Jade was 10 times better in that 5 minutes that she was in the Rumble than she has been in many matches.
They were teasing Charlotte Jade at WrestleMania like months ago, but then Charlotte tore ACL, so it's like
gotcha. Yeah, but no, Roxanne is doing just when I thought. Just when I thought I was like with her and Kiana stuff, I'm like, where are we going? You're kind of wasting her.
No, HBK's booking this. What's going on with her really well right now.
Yeah,
I think it's very clear she's going to be winning the title back very soon, because things are going to start to go south between Lyra and Dana Paxley very soon.
Don't lie to me, Justin. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me.
I'm feeling it, buddy.
I'm holding it to you. I'm holding it. I'm holding it to you. I don't want to boycott it for the 7th time. I will do it.
I know you don't want to be disappointed again.
I don't want to. She didn't take the pin. That's the good part.
I told you that. I was like, there's only one reason why she wouldn't take the pin, because
that's why the truth hurts sometimes. Okay, that's why the truth hurts.
Yep.
But no, still, Roxanne. As long as Roxanne on the show, I see
Lyra, Roxanne. You pencil that in for stand delivery.
Yeah,
the rematch is gonna happen.
That was the one thing I was like, Lyra beat Becky, and then I went back and watched the match. I'm like, oh yeah, Lyra beat Becky, because Lyra is solid. And then her promo with the contract signing with Roxanne, I was like, all right, that was the only last thing I needed. I just needed the little I need to see the promo skills. And that contract signing with Roxanne was good.
Yeah, it's helping her mic work, the stuff with Paxley. So
all right. So we'll wrap up here. Give us the card for.
All right, so we're gonna run down Revolution here real quick before we wrap things up. So, we got this All-Star Scramble match. Originally, it was supposed to be a meat match. He wanted to include Miro and Keith Lee, but apparently they're both out. I know Keith Lee's still out injured. I don't know if Miro is injured or it's more about that he's taking care of CJ after the whole finger infection thing. We don't know. But anyway, so now at this point, it's Wardlow versus Chris Jericho, Hobbs, Lance Archer, Hook, Brian Cage. And it looks like it's probably going to be Magnus and Dante Martin from the because they already, I think they pre-taped Rampage or something. Those are I see them, but that's not 100% confirmed yet. So whoever wins this will get a future title shot again for the AEW World Championship. Wardlow should and has to win this match. Period.
Has to win. Tony, don't fuck it up.
Yeah. Then we got a banger match potential alert here. FTR versus Blackpool Combat Club of Moxley and Claudio.
Potential?
Potential? Yeah, I'm just being conservative.
Okay.
This match is gonna kick ass, regardless. Not sure who's gonna win this. I think FTR just to with what's happened so far. We'll see. Who you got? FTR winning this one?
I mean, yeah, bias aside, yes.
Yeah.
Bias aside, I mean bias. Yeah. All bias with it, yes.
Well, yeah, our love for FTR is very clear. So
yeah, I just don't know when he is going to get a little bit of punishment for his off the mat stuff.
I don't know what. Yeah, it's like because
if that wasn't involved, yes, but
because it's like they're. He's
or outside the ring, not off the mat. Outside the ring,
he's got to deal with those charges in Florida.
Transgressions. So. He's now that they brought charges. I'm probably going to go with Blackpool just because of that.
That's why I wouldn't be surprised if Blackpool wins.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got TNT title match: Christian Cage defending against Daniel Garcia.
Daniel should win it, dude.
I think Daniel should win it, probably with a little.
He is so good right now.
Because Edge and Christian doesn't need the TNT title for the rubber match. Give Daniel Garcia a big singles win that he really needs over Christian.
He's earned it, dude.
I really hope Garcia wins this.
He's come from his character work from
and he got over, man. It's like the fans are behind him, so it's like it's worked.
His dancing stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy enough, it's worked because he's actually come out of his shell.
I totally see Edge giving him an assist here to fuck Christian over and set up the rubber match between the two of them at the next pay-per-view. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita. Ospreay. It's going to be a banger match, but Ospreay's going to win this. He's winning his debut match.
It might be under 10 minutes, honestly.
Who knows?
with AEW, they like kind of want to be like the New Japan of just like having like 7-hour shows and every match going an hour.
Yep. All right, then we have Continental Crown title match. Eddie Kingston defending against Bryan Danielson. If Eddie wins, Danielson has to shake Eddie's hand, which I think is a great idea because it's like Danielson has made it clear he does not like or respect Eddie at all. So Eddie's saying that if I win, you have to show me respect is fucking brilliant, and Eddie's going to win this match, especially
I think Eddie's going to win.
Especially after Danielson choked him out this week on Dynamite. It's very clear Eddie's going to win this match.
Yeah, Eddie's going to win. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Then we got women's title match. Timeless Toni Storm defending against Deonna Purrazzo. Tony, she's not losing title just yet.
No, but as soon as she
unfortunate
wins,
because Deonna would make a great champion. She's awesome, but it's too early for Tony to drop the belt. Again.
Yeah, but as soon as she wins, there's going to be some weird vignette about Mercedes.
Probably. Then we got Orange Cassidy defending the international title against Roderick Strong.
No, Roderick's winning. There's too many reports to back it.
Yeah, Roddy should be winning this match.
It's the right decision too.
It is. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Orange doesn't need the title anymore.
No, Orange is fine.
The Undisputed Kingdom and Roddy need it.
Yes.
AEW World Title match, triple threat. Samoa Joe defending against Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Samoa Joe is going to win this. He's going to either pin or choke out Hangman because Swerve's not taking the fall.
Yeah. Put in our side chat of our predictions. Because if we go, how many matches are there? I think we're going to go like 80% on our predictions.
I'll write them down. I'll try to remember to write down. And then, of course, the main event is going to be tag team title match, Sting's retirement match, Sting and Darby Allin defending the tag team titles against the Young Bucks.
That's one I don't know.
Yeah, this could go either way.
Yeah, because it's team retirement match. So, like, why would you have the Young Bucks beat them for the tag team titles? Because, like, does it? But
if Sting retires, and that means the titles got to get vacated.
That's what I'm saying. So they have a tag team tournament, like they always do. Like I think that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
So like either way, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have Sting go out on top, have a tag team tournament to determine.
And this is gonna be wild because this is a tornado tag match, so it's
right.
There's no tags. It's like it's they're all 4 are going to be in the ring at the same time. It's going to be chaos.
Yeah. But that's the one match that I'm like, don't know how it's going to
go. I don't know. It could go either way. That's the only one I'm not sure of what the finish.
Maybe that in Blackpool and FTR, but because of the outside of the ring
Cash
stuff,
Wheeler's legal issues.
Cash Wheeler's legal issues. I just don't see them going over because of all that shit that's going on.
But this looks like a really strong pay-per-view. They got a lot of
AEW knows how to do pay-per-views, dude.
Yeah, no, they deliver. It's like we can be critical about Dynamite at times, rightly so, but they normally deliver the goods on the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And this one looks like it's gonna be a hell of a show.
Yeah. Their storylines may be lacking, but when it comes to their pay-per-views and match quality, especially on the pay-per-views, the only time that sucked was the Kingdom debuting and Samoa Joe beating that. I forget what it was. The Worlds Collide or something like that.
Yeah,
what it was. That was the only AEW pay-per-view. I'm like, that sucked.
Yeah, the last one, Worlds Collide, was okay at best. It's like, but I think this one's gonna kick ass.
Yeah, and last little nugget before we get out. Speaking about AEW and pay-per-views, Tony came out and said that he wants to do 9 pay-per-views a year. He thinks that's a solid number. Agree or disagree?
I think that's fine. He doesn't need, as long as they don't get, they don't need to go monthly. If he feels whatever he feels that they need to do, they'll do it. It's like, as long as you don't get too overstuffed at this point.
Yeah, because they started out with like 4, and they said that's all we're gonna do. I was like, no, you're not. And then they started out with like, oh, there's only going to be so many title belts. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're oversaturated. So it's like, you got to understand, you can try to do something. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Pay-per-views make money, dog. It keeps the lights on. So it is. But anything else?
Excuse me. Okay. So I think that just about covers it, unless there's anything else I want to go before we're done.
That's all I got. But thank you, Justin, obviously for your breakdowns and all of the notes and stuff that you have. Thank you all for joining us. Write down what you think is going to happen at AEW. Write down if Mercedes is going to be hinted, because we know she's not going to debut until Boston, or that's just a weird reason to hype that show. She might debut. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
We know she's going to be AEW, and it still befuddles a lot of the people on the dirt sheets of why she's there. But thank you all so much for joining us every week that we are here. We will be back here at 10:30 and Eastern time. But if anything, comment down below, like, subscribe, all that fun jazz. Join the Ruckus, patreon.com Ruckus EV, if you want to be involved with our channel and make your own show. Trust us. Trust me. We if you like a show, and you can pitch it to us, and we will help you develop it and put it out there to the YouTubes and the Twitches and all the other internets out there. Also, you can join our Discord and everything like that. All that links are down below. And if anything else, Justin, it's always a pleasure to do this every week with you. It fills my wrestling void, even though we still talk about it every day, pretty much through chats. But it's always a culmination of why we love wrestling, and it's always a good indication of why this thing means so much to us. So from me and Justin, thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you next time when I put this thing